Hi class, and welcome to this video, which is part of Unit 3 Outcome 2 for Business Management. This outcome is all about human resources and how we manage employees. And this video is going to cover two key knowledge points, all about motivation, but specifically we're going to look at strategies. What do I hope that you achieve out of this video if we look at the key knowledge points? We're going to look at motivational strategies, not to be confused with theories, which is the previous key knowledge point. Strategies are how we are going to implement it. And we're going to look at motivational strategies, how we ensure that our employees are motivated. And we're going to look at things such as performance-related pay, career advancement, investment in training, and support and sanction. At each time, we're going to think about the second aspect of this key knowledge point, where we're going to think about the advantages and disadvantages of that specific strategy and whether it's going to be more of a short-term or long-term motivational strategy. So let's have a quick pause before we go into the details. If we think back to the first video of this and the first area of study of business foundations, we know that the business has a lot of objectives. And a strategy is a set of actions that a business takes to achieve those objectives. So in relation to employee motivation, we are now going to think about the strategies, so the actions that management and HR can do to ensure that we have motivated employees. And we're going to think that these can be financial or non-financial. Performance and related pay is our financial strategy, but we're going to break it down to three options. And then we have three non-financial, being career advancement, investment in training, and support and sanction. So I want us to think about that employees are really important. They have objectives that are hopefully aligned to the business objectives, and we need those employees to be motivated. There are three theories of motivation, and we are now thinking about the strategies. So it's going to be very important in a question is this question asking for a strategy or a theory? When we think about strategy, so the actions that a business can take, as we said, we are going to break them down into either financial strategies or non-financial strategies. Financial being performance-related pay. We're going to relate the pay to performance to hopefully motivate, and we're going to look at three options. And then non-financial, we're going to think about career advancement, investment in training, and support and sanction. So what do we mean by performance-related pay? This recognizes that an effective strategy or sometimes an effective strategy to ensure motivation is to give rewards to those employees whose work performance has reached or exceeded the standard or benchmark. So this is going to be a strategy where we are going to financially reward employees who are working well and achieving objectives or exceeding objectives. Now that is motivating because business people want to have rewards financially, and hence they will strive to meet their benchmarks or standards. It's important to note that this can be a short-term and long-term strategy. It can be a very short-term one if it's just about, I'm going to get a bonus next week if I achieve this objective. That's a very short-term one and won't continue on. It can be long-term though if we recognize that there is going to be long-term rewards, or these rewards can keep going on and on and on. Now there are three types of performance-related pay. So where we relate the pay to performance. We could provide wage or salary increases, not a wage or a salary. Everyone gets that. The key word to include is increases. A wage is the monetary reward paid on a weekly basis. A salary is what you earn in a year. And it's important to recognize we can motivate if we increase these wages or salaries above an award standard, which is the legal minimum wage, or just as an ongoing thing, we increase wages and salaries if they make a significant contribution to the objectives. So it's important to note that these are increases for meeting or exceeding objectives. It's not just getting a wage or salary. And if our employees recognize they will be rewarded with these increases, they will strive more to achieve those objectives. Another way that we can motivate is through bonuses or commissions. Bonuses and commissions are different, but they will both reward people financially for doing aspects in a business, often getting sales. And this will hopefully ensure that our business objectives are being met, and will motivate by rewarding them, and hopefully that will align our employee motivation and objectives with our business objectives. Now, a bonus is a one-off payment given to an employee or a group of employees as a reward for meeting a target. It might be, for example, if an employee is recognized as a high performance, they're going to be given a one-off payment at the end of the year. That's why it's called a bonus, and you might have heard it like that. A commission is different. A commission is where someone is paid when they achieve a sale. And often this is a fixed percentage of the sale. So the employee is going to be motivated to make lots of sales because their amount of money they earn is going to be linked to that. For example, real estate agents often have a very low base salary, but they get paid a commission for each sale they make. It might be 1 or 2% of the house price. Now, if that's $1 million house, 2% sounds low, but it's actually $20,000 commission. Now, another way that a business can reward our employees financially and hopefully motivate them is to give them a amount of the profit or financial performance of the business as a part of their, I haven't explained that well, by recognizing that often a business objective is to increase profit or get a large profit. And it is the employees that have achieved that by working hard and having lots of sales and reducing expenses. So they should be rewarded for that and be given part of that profit or part of ownership. And this is where share plans or profit sharing comes in. Sometimes private or limited companies, those businesses that have shares, may offer share plans where they'll give employees part ownership of a business. This is hopefully motivating because they will start to receive some parts of the bonus. They'll get a percentage of the profit. Profit sharing is often where employees are given a fixed percentage of the annual profit. And again, hopefully motivating and will drive performance because if they work hard, profits will increase and they will receive a part of those profits. Now, then we move into the non-financial ones, because you might have heard things saying like money doesn't necessarily buy happiness. And we know not everyone is just motivated by financial rewards. Many people have intrinsic desires to do well that has nothing to do with pay. And these are our non-financial strategies. Career advancement is an important one. This refers to providing opportunities to be promoted to new positions or be given new experiences or responsibilities. So career advancement, yes, could involve promotions, but it's also about providing more experiences and responsibility. This can be a very important motivational strategy because people are going to work for a long time in their life. And we know that people, particularly young people, are more willing to change employers to satisfy their career advancement needs. So if we can ensure that our employees are given career advancement opportunities and given unique experiences and responsibility, and their hard work is recognized and because they're given these new experiences and responsibility, this is very motivating. Not only that, it's a long-term motivational strategy. How can they do this? There are many ways, and career advancement can provide an increased challenge, which can act as a motivator. And especially if we start to link to it, why is this a motivator? It's because we might be more likely to be reaching the self-actualization part of Maslow, or it might be ticking off the drive to acquire and the drive to comprehend of the 4 drive theory. So you can link it back to the theories. How can a business do this? Provide unique experiences for our high performances. They can do strategies like job enrichment, This is making a job more challenging and interesting. They can do job enlargement, which is making the job bigger or more challenging, hence more responsibility. Or they could do something like job rotation. Now, this is where a worker works between different jobs to increase the variety and increase the knowledge and skills that they obtain. And all of these things are long-term motivators. Investment in training is also a long-term motivational strategy. We know that training refers to improving the skills, attitudes, and knowledge of employees. We know that this is important to ensure that employees are able to perform their job efficiently and effectively. Now, investing in training is important, and it's key to input this word investing, because the key knowledge point says investment in training, as it's going to build up the competence and knowledge among employees. This is important because they're going to be more productive, but most importantly, this is going to equal motivation. Because we're going to have employees that are going to have a greater sense of loyalty and attachment to the business. And if we think about it, we are meeting that drive to bond, or that drive for belonging or self-esteem. So we can link it back to our theories of the hierarchy of needs in Maslow, 4-drive theory of Lawrence and Noria. Now, you can have a link about this. This is going into a bit more detail about how it links to the hierarchy of needs, goal setting, and 4-drive theory. I'm conscious that these videos become quite long. And then we come to our final one, support and sanction. Now, support is a relatively simple one. Sanction is one I put a little asterisk next to. It's a little bit more complicated to explain. So I encourage a student to not talk about this one unless they have to, or they're really confident on it. Now, one of the most motivating factors for employees, and this is a long-term motivator, is support. You will be motivated if you feel supported and encouraged, acknowledged and valued. And when they feel supported, they will be motivated, and it is likely that they will show improved productivity, a sense of pride in the business, higher levels of commitment to the business and objectives, and we know our employees we want our employees to be aligned to the business objectives, and lower levels of staff absenteeism and desire to leave, which is staff turnover. So supporting our employees is greatly important. Sanction is a bit different, but I'm still on support. I apologize. This is a long-term motivational strategy. Feel free to read this slide. Now, sanction is a little bit difficult. It is a short-term motivator. A sanction is a form of penalty or punishment given to an employee to discourage a behavior. Now, sanctions are unfortunately necessary. Sometimes we do need to penalize and punish our employees, especially if their error was deliberate. We shouldn't punish someone if their error was not deliberate and they just made an honest mistake, or reckless, in which case they really should have known better. A punishment is okay, especially if it had the potential to harm someone else, another staff member or customers. But how can sanction or punishments be a motivator? Sanctions can act as a motivator through fear. It's usually a more lower order need because people need the physiological benefits of having a job. They can buy food, they can have shelter, and they want job security. So it is a motivator because you do not want to be punished, so people will work and not slack off or not leave early or not do something in the wrong way or take a shortcut because they fear this penalty or punishment. They have a drive to defend, they want to avoid unpleasant consequences. So that's why it's a short-term one, but it is a little bit more complicated to talk about. So where are we at? We now need to think about the advantages and disadvantages. Now, I'm not going to go through each one of those. I'm going to just show you the slides for 10 seconds on each because it's quite a long video. I encourage you to read it, analyze it, and especially consider the relative advantages and disadvantages because this is where discuss questions come in. I also want you to think about whether these strategies are long-term or short-term. But for now, let's go through our advantages. For performance-related pay, we are going to break it down into the 3 different types, and you can see the advantages here and disadvantages here. For bonuses, commissions, we have different advantages and disadvantages. I encourage you to pause this video. And again, for profit and sharing, we have different advantages and disadvantages. For our non-financial strategies, career advancement, here are our advantages and disadvantages. For investment and training, here are our advantages and disadvantages. And support and sanction, they are here. Now that was very quick for the advantages and disadvantages because I think they're relatively self-explanatory. If we really understand the strategies and how they motivate, we can then understand our advantages and disadvantages. But for now, I hope you found this video useful, and if you can start to now understand the strategies or the actions a business can take to motivate their employees. Very different to the theories, but always linked.